Welcome to a 10-minute session, not more, not less, on a quite interesting topic, and it's the future of marketing technology. And I invited today a dear friend of mine, Scott Vaughn, who actually wrote recently an article on his thoughts on what the new platform of record will be for the B2B marketing department. And so we'd like to spend the next 10 minutes discussing exactly how that platform could look like. So if we go back, Scott, 20 years ago, I think that was the start of B2B marketing automation. In the meantime, there's much more than that. What was then for you the starting point for Eloqua to launch their solution to the market? What was it that they're trying to solve at that point in time?
Yeah, it was a crazy time, and most of us as marketers during that point, we were right or wrong labeled the trade show, the logo, they did brochures, and those are all great things. But what Eloqua and marketing tools and systems that were coming on the market allowed us to have our own database, allowed us to start to do engagement with markets and buyers, and it was a very seminal time and moment. And fast forward 7 or 8 years after that, people were building careers around that platform. And it actually, I would argue, Marketo and Pardot and a number of players came into that space. And that formed this whole concept that you could actually run marketing as a business in operations, or at least aspirationally do that.
Yeah, and I remember I saw you a couple of times on stage where you had this statement like, I bought the dream.
Well, I think I'm continually buying the dream, by the way, even today as we look at the more sophisticated and integrated systems in this battle, as you described it. But the dream was that we could bring a team along, and that marketing could not just have a seat at the table, but we could meaningfully impact our bottom line and our top line in growing new customers. And that's what marketing automation was really about. It aspirationally was about revenue. The reality was about creating leads for sales. I mean, if we're honest, fast forward, here we are today, and good or bad or maybe indifferent, but marketing automation is still the center of many B2B marketing organizations. It's still the platform that kind of glues and connects a lot of pieces. Although, as you pointed out many times, that's changing.
Yeah. So you just said something. I remember then Eloqua, when they launched, the narratives they were using was to say, well, the back office has got its platform called ERP, supply chain or the warehouse has got its platform, supply chain management software, and you can keep going, sales had CRM. And they were saying, marketing doesn't have anything. We're going to give them the equivalent, which is marketing automation. Now, we're 20 years later. Did that work out?
Well, yeah, I think it did. Is it perfect? No. Did we take some wrong turns? Yes. But what it did is it got marketing into the technology and data business, or ability to use tools that allowed us to use data to bring data and engagement and other elements into marketing we just didn't have. So sometimes you have to go through a phase, even though that wasn't the perfect solution. They got bought by all those major marketing automation providers. Pretty much all of them got bought by big platforms. So they became another piece of ERP or of databases or whatever that is. The innovation stalled and stopped. And that's kind of where we find ourselves today, where we have a new set of tools and technology entering the market. And they're all trying to, well, that was the old way. You created leads and you did artificial scoring. And yeah, that's what my aunt and uncle did, my parents did. That we're going to do something much more that's digitally footprint driven, that's more analytics, that uses maybe machine learning and AI. So we're at this really great point right now, but it's noisy because we're hanging on to the past because it's still operating a lot of our systems, marketing automation specifically. We're beginning to bring in these more predictive and AI driven solutions. Maybe they're platforms, maybe they're tools. But you can see we're on a generational shift right now. We're right in the middle of it. And I think it's exciting. I know you're studying it and you're working with your clients with your sleeves rolled up.
So if you were writing your article about the next platform of record, whether the platform is one piece of technology or, and I believe more that is going to be the case, a fabric of different pieces of technology that all work together. Wouldn't you then say that marketing automation didn't succeed in its mission? Haven't we always known that buying happens in groups and buying committees? So, what's what's your take on that part of the equation? Why did we actually, knowing that buying happens in groups, why did we let ourselves go down the path of thinking lead generation and lead scoring and individual need nurturing was the way to go?
Yeah. Well, that's a very philosophical question, but the truth is that I think we were finding success. Did it lead us down some bad paths? Yes, but I do think it was successful in giving us putting marketing at the table. That doesn't mean we get to keep that seat at the table. We have to earn it. Marketing was there to serve sales. And so to serve sales, sales did all that work. So you sent them leads. That's what you did. That succeeded. Now, was it the right path? I'm not saying that. But it really helped us develop skill set and talent and people that sat in marketing. The truth is, the buying process is much more dynamic. It's much more real time. Like everything in our life is accelerated. The economies changes so fast. Markets change faster than it did in the past. You talked about connecting the fabric of being able to find solutions and technology that you can put together and really manage that as an instrument, if you will, that you can orchestrate around your buyers and markets. And I think that everybody knows that. And we're going to have to let go of some of these legacy platforms that we put at the center. And for the vendors, it's a positioning war. They're all positioning to be that next great platform of record around customers and revenue. Exchange the words, customer technology, revenue technology, whatever it is. The truth is, we should learn one thing very clearly. There is no savior. There is no perfect platform. But if we can plug in those capabilities to our whole sales, marketing, customer success engine, then we have a much greater shot.
What I've seen over all those years is that, and it's kind of strange, and also sitting in Europe, that probably the early adopters and the laggards, there's like a 15-year time lap between both, strangely enough. So there's still industries out there where there are players for whom everything we just talked about is new. If you would be working for one of those type of more lagging industries, what would be the advice you would be giving them if they're looking into tech? What is the single most important thing they should be taken into account?
Well, there's one point you can't miss, which is we've all learned you can't throw technology at a strategy issue. So first of all, you have to get your business strategy aligned with your business and your go-to-market strategy, who you're targeting, the types of companies, the profiles, your messaging, your positioning, the responsibilities and role of your organization. Before you start automating workflows and doing all that, you really got to get your strategy down. Technology is almost last because that's what helps it scale and to automate those processes. And I think that's my piece of advice, because you actually have a chance. You may be a laggard from the past generation, but there's so many more ways we can engage buyers and accounts strategically. And I know that's what you all work on at Lead Fabric, but to me, that's essential.
There's maybe even an additional benefit of being a laggard, right? You can learn from the mistake other people have made, and you can leapfrog. They don't need to kind of use the next 15 years to kind of get to that point. They probably can get there much quicker.
Let everybody else take the arrows as the pioneers and the innovators that stumble and spend a lot of money and resources. Absolutely. And that's why I think that era really helped build some catalysis. And maybe it's for people who've done it, 3 or 4 or 5 times now that really feel that way.
Yeah. Awesome. I said we only had 10 minutes. We fully used them, maybe even a little bit more, but
I won't tell anybody.
Yeah, voilà, me neither. So thanks, Scott, for your valuable insights. And to the audience, if you want to know more, I think Scott is all over the internet, LinkedIn, very easy to find him, Scott Vaughn. And my name is Koen de Witte, Lead Fabric. So never hesitate to reach out to either of us if you have any additional questions on the matter or anything else related to B2B sales and marketing.